in jail, or whatever you may be, then here we are here to share something of the readings, teachings of Srila Guru Maharaj in the book, The Loving Search for the Lost Servant. And we'll try to also read from Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta today too. If you're reading from the book, it's the chapter entitled Knowledge-Free Devotion, and the fifth line of that page, of page number 74, which is a subtitle, All Rights Reserved. But actually, you're listening, you don't really have to read it unless you want to check my reading. Am I reading what is here? Anyway, Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, the author of this, Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rock Srila Deva Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, and the inseparable Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Deva Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev ki Jai, and Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai, and Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. All right, dear devotees, so it is not from any qualification on our side that the Absolute can be caught. So this is coming. Oh well, this is following on the context. Guru Maharaj has been saying, well, I may go back to the beginning of the book because it's all wonderful things. That man was struck dumb. He could not speak. He was silenced. And another time, the president of the Arya Samaj came to see me in Karachi and told me that if the finite cannot know the infinite, then if the finite can know the infinite, then he is not infinite. Then I replied, Guru Maharaj saying, if the infinite cannot make himself known to the finite, he is not infinite. Guru Maharaj's capacity on the spot to come up with these things too, because definitely sometimes after a conversation, we know we failed to get the point over, and we kind of later we think, I should have said this, I should have said that. And then sometimes Krishna gives you a similar situation again, just to see, okay, did you learn? What are you going to say this time? It happens. But Guru Maharaj, alert to the point. So then Guru Maharaj said, he could not answer my argument. So from there we are starting our talk today, or our reading. So Guru Maharaj saying, so it is not from any qualification on our side that the Absolute can be caught. Whomever he chooses to make himself known to will know him. This is explained in the Upanishads, that he cannot be known by lectures or discussions, by sharp memory or vast intelligence, or by genius or supernatural intellect. One may have extensively studied all the revealed scriptures, but that is no qualification. Exactly fits into what I was hearing Gurudev saying yesterday. We said about we don't need to read any books, we just have to chant Hare Krishna, serve the Lord, serve the devotees with affection. So Krishna reserves all independence on his side. There is only one way by which he can be known. Only one way by which he can be known. Whomever he chooses to make himself known to can know him. Otherwise, all rights are reserved there by his sweet will. So when there's only one way that whoever he wants to show himself to, he can reveal himself to, as it were, be known to. So then Guru Maharaj absolutely logically says, so how can we draw his sweet will? If everything relies on his sweet will, then logically, how can we draw his sweet will? That is the question. There we are. Okay, so now in your next class with Devashish Prabhu, you got a question. Devashish Prabhu, how can we draw the sweet will of the Lord, because we hear from Guru Maharaj that only by his sweet will can we ever know him. There we are, there's a question. So that is the question, Guru Maharaj saying. How can we attract his sweet will? How can we tackle his sweet will? That can only be done through, any guesses? You're reading the book. Service, okay. Any other expression? Surrender. There we are. Saranagati. But yes, service. Service also means that's some saranagati. So how can we tackle his sweet will? That can only be done through saranagati, surrender, by increasing our negative side. We must think, I am so poor, without your grace I cannot live. We must think like this to try to arouse pity within his heart. We must appeal to his understanding that we are in extreme need of him, and that without his grace we cannot live. Only such a sincere feeling of necessity can draw his attention to us. Way. There is only one, some onlys here, only one way. There is only one way by which he can be known. That whomever he wishes to make himself known to, then it is his will, only one way by his will. Then we've got the question, how to draw that? And now, only such a sincere feeling that I am so poor, without your grace I cannot live. Only such a sincere feeling of necessity can draw his attention to us. Otherwise, we have no possibility of capturing him. Of course, capturing in the sense of capturing him in our heart and capturing his attention and our relationship, as it were. So, the negative approach has been recommended for capturing him. We have this expression again. Our exclusive prayer is that we are the most needy and sincere. That alone can draw his attention towards us. And that is not an opinion or a speculation, it is a fact. It is reality. There are so many things which come from Guru Maharaj, from Gurudev. When we know their stature, their grandness in the pure devotional field, then we just accept what we hear from them. Now, it's not that we have to go to try to get other conclusions or so many things. Many times we come like, this is all we need. So that alone, so our exclusive prayer is, who knows what is our exclusive prayer? Exclusive means exclusive, only excluding everything else. Well, it is surrender, but the prayer, the Guru Maharaj said, our exclusive prayer is that I am the most needy and sincere, with the prayer that Guru Maharaj gave before, that without you, I am so poor, and without your grace, I cannot live. Hare Krishna. And then that alone can draw his attention towards us. And then Guru Maharaj emphasizing it, because he's saying, and that is not an opinion, like somebody's opinion is that, or a speculation, I think that, oh yes, like that. It is a fact. It is reality. So this is our reading today. Then Srila Guru Maharaj goes on to give some example from his life. And he's saying, I once met a scholarly sannyasi in Badrik Ashram who posed as an atheist in the course of our discussion. In English they say the devil's advocate. You know, two devotees, and we've done it before, that somehow it doesn't feel good when we're with devotees. One devotee, like he and I, will sit and I'll say something and he'll give opposition. Out of giving opposition, just so that we practice how to answer these questions. But with devotees it doesn't sound very good, because we don't want to pretend anything, especially really to pretend we're an opponent. We don't want to think about opposing, we want to think about the positive. Okay, he's talking in a language here. Oh, you're trying to give the page number? Ah, okay. Anyway, so this man was posing as an atheist in the course of our discussion. And he argued, what is the evidence that God or the soul exists? So this is atheist thing. Just don't even think about it. Then I quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 22, verse 34, if you want to look it up. Atma parigyana mayo vivado hyastiti nastiti bidharta nishtaha vyato pi naivo parameta pungshang mataha paravrita diyang sva lokat. Excuse my Sanskrit pronunciation. So I explained to him that although Atma, spirit, is self-effulgent, there is a constant quarrel between two opposing parties. One party says, God exists, and the other party says, God does not exist. And Guru was saying there's a constant quarrel between the two. Then Srimad Bhagavatam says that the Atma is self-effulgent. But still we find that one class of men say, he exists, we see him, he can be seen. And another party says, he has never existed. And then Guru Maharaj makes this point, just in case you get in such a kind of situation. This quarrel has no end, because one of the parties has got the eye to see what is self-evident. Sorry, because one of the parties has not got the eye to see what is self-evident. Like the sun is shining and everything, but if we're blind, we can't see what is self-evident to somebody who has eyes. It's a beautiful morning in London. So the quarrel is a useless waste of time. But still, it will never stop. It will continue forever. Why? Because there are those who have the eyes to see God and those who have no eyes to see Him or their own self. One of these classes of men has deviated from God consciousness, and there is a barrier between them and God consciousness, between them and self-consciousness. So the disagreement will only continue on account of their ignorance. This was Guru Maharaj's reply to that man in Badrik Ashram. So Srila Guru Maharaj continuing. Those who have eyes to see will say, the sun exists, there is the sun. Those who have no eyes will say, no, there is no sun. And this argument will continue forever. But that does not mean that the sun is not existing. It can show itself. Hare Krishna. An analogy has been given in this connection that a boy is born in a dungeon, a dark prison house, and he grows up there without any experience of sunlight. One of his friends from outside the prison would come and visit him. One day the boy's friend said, "Let's go out to see the sun. Come with me, I shall show you." And the boy replied, "Oh yes, I shall go with you." But he began to bring a lantern with him, and his friend remarked, "It is not necessary to take the lantern." And that boy replied, "What do you say? Do you think I am a fool? Can anything be seen without the help of a lantern? I am not a fool." Then his friend forcibly took him by the hand, took him outside, showed him the sun. The boy said, "Oh, this is the sun. By its light, everything can be seen." But all of this story is, so the soul is like that. God is like that. He is seen by his own light, and it is only by his light that we can see anything. He is self-effulgent. By his own light, he can show himself to others. He is the source of all knowledge. And this is the proper conception of Godhead. He is automatically existing. He cannot be seen by our knowledge, just as the sun cannot be seen by the help of any other light. It is not necessary that we try to acquire God consciousness through intellect or knowledge. Knowledge of God is independent. It can come and go of its own accord. And if he comes to me, everything comes to me. But nothing can force him to come within our vision. The sun cannot be taken into our dungeon in the prison. But you have to go to the sun and see things by its grace. In the same way, the Lord is self-effulgent, and he can be seen only by his own light. Okay, well, it's a little bit of a long way before a next break comes, so we can end here and then go to the Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta. And the beginning for tomorrow is a stunning sentence from Guru Maharaj. Intellectualism is a disqualification. That is the very first word for tomorrow. So you can put the marker. And somebody, you are all shopping online for everything and tapping this. Someone can find those that we have in Vila Govinda. Absolutely accurate bookmarks, where you can, to the very word you can show on any page. It is very good bookmark, very good invention. Whoever made it, may they get some sukriti. Because when we are sharing books, like tomorrow somebody else will read, then when on one page, you got a lot of words to choose from. Where did they finish yesterday? Okay, so intellectualism is a disqualification, is where we start tomorrow. All right, now I have a duty. There's the camera for those at home. Don't think anyone's watching. If you are, we're very happy you're watching, wherever you may be. But we are here together, and maybe we can pass this to Kumkum Devidasi, because at 8 I am appointed, 8:30 I'm appointed, and now I bow out from the morning program and I have to do my other duties. And we shall see you soon, those who are online, and maybe the recorded version. People may be seeing us. So we're happy that you join, whoever may be joining us here in the London Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. Jai, loving search for the lost servant ki jai, Jai Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai, and now to Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, and over to Kumkum Devidasi. Kumkum Devidasi ki jai. And those who don't know her, she is disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and you can say disciple of Srila Guru Maharaj and of Srila Gurudev, and one of the very fortunate souls in this world. And I told you I had another appointment. And so we are all very fortunate to hear from her, and you can try to draw out some of her lifetime devotional experience since she was 16, and now she's over 40. She's had a long life. Vanchakaupatrubhyascha kripasindubhyevacha patitanam papanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Where shall I go? There? Can you try to say something? See if I go to the microphone. Jai, my Dandavat to all of the Vaishnavas. Prabhupada, who's often commenting on these, who is the reason we're all sitting here. Sound going okay? Can you check in the phone? Where is the other microphone? Oh, with the Maharaj, the one the Maharaj had.
Now you have two, Kumkum.
Okay. Okay, that's better. Take the other one off. Can you pass me that one? Uno. That's better. Okay. So we will resume hearing today from Caitanya-caritāmṛta Madhya-līlā, Chapter 8, the Rāmānanda Sampad. Okay. What grace that we get to hear this very, very high topic. And we are in the part where we're hearing about Krishna actually searching for Srimati Radharani. And these discussions between Maharprabhu and Rāmānanda Roy are to explain the gradations of self-realization and God-realization. And at this point, this is how does the Supreme Person become distracted from everything else and have to leave what he's doing and go searching. So we can't estimate how very high these topics are. And I believe it's text 115. And I know the person who knows where to get those markers, that you know who that is, right? Chinmoy Dev was the giver of these. Very expert, pointing precisely to the word where you need to begin. So I will, I'll actually go to text 114, where he says, the rasa dance does not shine in the heart of Krishna without Srimati Radharani. Therefore, he also gave up the circle of the rasa dance and went out to search for her. When Krishna went out to search for Srimati Radharani, he wandered here and there. However, not finding her, he became afflicted by the arrow of Cupid and began to lament. Text 116. Satakoti gopite nahe kama nirvapana tahate anumani Shri Radhika raguna. Since Krishna's lusty desires were not satisfied, even in the midst of hundreds of thousands of gopis, and he was searching after Srimati Radharani, we can easily imagine how transcendently qualified she is. Prabhu kahe ye lagi alama tomastane se sabatatva vastu haila mora gyane. After hearing this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Rāmānanda Roy, that for which I have come to your residence has now become an object of truth in my knowledge. Ebe se janilun saja sadhana nirnaya age ara ache kichu shunite manahaya. Now I have come to understand the sublime goal of life and the process of achieving it. Nevertheless, I think that there is something more ahead, and my mind is desiring to have it. So Mahaprabhu keeps enhancing the discussions more and more. Kindly explain the transcendental features of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. Also, explain the truth of transcendental mellow and the transcendental form of love of Godhead. Kripa kari eitatva kahata amare toma vina keha iha nirupite nare. Kindly explain all these truths to me, but for yourself no one can ascertain them. Rāya kahe iha ami kichu na jani tumi eka hao se kahi ami vani. As Sri Rāmānanda Roy replied, I do not know anything about this. I simply vibrate the sound that you make me speak. Tumara sikshaya pari yena shukapata sakshat ishvara tumi ke buje tumara nata. I simply repeat like a parrot whatever instructions you have given me. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. Who can understand your dramatic performances? Hridaye paranakara jivaya kahavani ki kahiye balamanda kichuna jani. You inspire me within the heart and make me speak with the tongue. I do not know whether I am speaking well or badly. Prabhu kahe mayavadi amita sannyasi bhakti tattva nahi jani mayavadi basi. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I am a mayavadi in the renounced order of life, and I do not even know what transcendental loving service to the Lord is. I simply float in the ocean of Mayavad philosophy. Do you know why Lord Chaitanya is calling himself a Mayavadi? His pastime is to point out that his lineage is not so high. It's his humility, but much for us to learn. Sarvabhauma Sange Mora Mana Nirmala Haila Krishna Bhakti Tatvakaha Tanhare Puchila. Due to the association of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, my mind has become enlightened. Therefore, I have asked Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya about the truths of transcendental loving service to Krishna. Ten hokahe aminahi jani Krishna katha sabe Rāmānanda jani ten nahi eta. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told me, I do not actually know about the topics of Lord Krishna. They are all known only to Ramananda Roy, but he is not present here. Tumara tani ailana, tumara mahima shunya, tumi more stutikara sanyasi janiya. That's okay.
It's hiding, so the sound is a little bit.
Okay, muffled.
Yes.
Okay. Grazie. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, after hearing about your glories, I have come to your place. However, you are offering me words of praise out of respect for sannyasi, one in the renounced order of life. This purport is a little lengthy, but very important to understand these topics. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that a mundane person, being enriched by mundane opulences, must always know that the transcendental opulences of the advanced devotees are more important than the materialistic opulences of a person like himself. A materialistic person with material opulences should not be very proud or puffed up before a transcendental devotee. If one approaches a transcendental devotee on the strength of his material heritage, opulence, education, and beauty, and does not offer respect to the advanced devotee of the Lord, the Vaishnava devotee may offer formal respects to such a materially puffed up person, but he may not deliver transcendental knowledge to him. Indeed, the devotee sees him as a non-Brahmin or Shudra. Such a puffed up person cannot understand the science of Krishna. A proud person is deceived in transcendental life, and despite attaining a human form, will again glide into hellish conditions. By his personal example, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains how one should be submissive and humble before a Vaishnava, even though one may be situated on a high platform. Such is the teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Acharya of the world, the supreme spiritual master and teacher. And this reminds me of the beautiful pastime, I believe it was in Russia, when there was a man, Srila Gurudev had been advanced to speak at an assembly, and he was being introduced by the person who invited him, who was a very erudite Indian man. I don't remember his title, but he was highly qualified, but he had invited Srila Gurudev to speak. And before introducing Srila Gurudev, or by way of introducing Gurudev, he went on and on about himself and his qualifications. Do you remember that story? So many talking about his advanced scholastic degrees that he had and his position, and it just went on and on. And then finally he mentioned Srila Gurudev and turned the floor over to him. And Srila Gurudev said, I am not so advanced, and I can't remember very well because I do not have such a degree as this. He said, but I have the mercy of my Guru Maharaj. And then he spoke Krishna Katha, which was so helpful and so appealing to everyone, so attractive, that even that gentleman who, I have to use this word here, puffed up by his own qualifications, submitted to him and said, this is most beautiful. You have given us everything. And so here, the general thing, it says, a proud person is deceived, and he's not going to be able to understand the Vaishnava. But somehow or other, Srila Gurudev's mercy came to him, and right in that moment just pierced his heart, and he did understand something. So there's the general things to expect, but then the greatness of such a Vaishnava is it can override anything that we would expect. So even all sorts of rules can be completely smashed. We get to hear about those things. Now, tomorrow we can continue with text 128, the continued teachings of, this is Mahaprabhu speaking, I believe, whether one is a Brahmana, sannyasi, or a Sudra. Okay, we can begin there next time. Jai.
Want to sing Harihara so far?
Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Madhavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinaram Sri Madhusudan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Chandra Radhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sanatan Vajravinda Jai Goshai Jari Karana Bandhan Hare Kṛṣṇadāsa Puran Jai Goshai Jar Mui Tara Jar Pansabara Para Renu Moda Panchakar Kandara Charana Sevi Vasa Sane Bhar Jana Meva More Ea Pilas Echai Goshai Kari Chari Vasa Radha Krishna Madhya-līlā Gaurila Pakar Ananda Bolo Hari Vacha Vrindavan Guru Vaishnava Pare Madhya-līlā Guru Vaishnava Pare Padma Puriyas Nam Sankirtana Kohe Nurtamadas Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Nithai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol Nithai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol
Jai Shaprikarashi Shri Guru Ranga Sundara Ada Giridhari Jai Jai Om Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Sunna Govinda Deva Goswami Ki Jai
Jai
Jai Om Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Raksaka Deva Goswami Ki Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur Jai Shri Panuga Gurvaga Ki Jai Namachar Srila Das Thakur Ki Jai Nantakatu Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Sarasvati Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Shri Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Kumkum Didi Ki Jai Nam Sankirtana Ki Jai Gora Pramanandi Hari Hari